Hey y'all, just did a rant about being a substitute teacher in California, and yeah, there's a lot of PTSD there. But I want to tell you a time about when I was working at a middle school, and the principal, a Chinese American principal, he took me aside after I subbed for 2 or 3 days, and he said, "I want you to take over this class." And I said, "But I don't know anything about special ed, nothing." He said, "Yeah, but the teacher who we have, she's not good, you know." And I found out later that she would like lock the children in the closet, right, when they didn't behave, in a dark closet. And how could I say no, right? So I had 6 or 7, and I had one paraprofessional who became a very good friend of mine, and it was like we became like a mom and a dad to these kids, right? And these kids were low income, low, nonverbal. Most of them were nonverbal. There was a lot of stemming going on, a lot of violence, a lot of shoe throwing, spitting, and all of that. And it was the best job in education I've ever had. I did it for 2 years, and it was middle school, and I had boys there. I would change the boys. It wasn't my job, but we only had one paraprofessional, and she was busy taking care of the few girls that we had. There was only, I don't know, 6, 7, 8 kids at any given time, and I've changed diapers on my children, my own children. I've changed their diapers, right? But to change a diaper on a 12, 13-year-old boy is different. It's quite different. But the thing is that the first time I did it, I was repulsed. And I thought, God damn, this isn't fair. I have a master's degree and shit. You know? I'm better than this. I write books and shit and songs that, have gotten millions of views on YouTube hits, right? And at the time, I hadn't had that, but I always thought I was special, a little special. And now I had kids. I showed one. Oh, I was married to my last wife, and she's a teacher too. And I showed her a video of a kid, and she said, "Oh my God!" I videotaped him because for legal reasons, he was just biting me, and she said, "Oh my God, he's possessed by the devil." She's Catholic, whatever. And I thought, no, I don't think he's possessed by the devil. I think he's frustrated. I think he's very, very frustrated. Just as I had a student, a beautiful little boy, who was nonverbal and mute. I mean, nonverbal means mute, but he also had intellectual challenges, right? But he was so angry, and I could see that, because I'm angry too. And little by little, I got him to stop spitting on people and throwing shoes at people. And his grandma, who was a crack addict, and raising him, because the mom was a crack hoe, literally a crack hoe. And this little boy would have to sleep on the floor while the mom was turning tricks. It was a very, very, very rough, very, very rough environment. And most of you, if you haven't been in that kind of situation, I'd never been in that kind of situation. But the thing is that you rise to the occasion, And the principal who fired the bitch who put the fucking kid in the closet, right? He's like, "I believe in you. You can do it." I'm like, "Oh, I don't think I can." But part of me was like, "Well, I'll make teacher salary. I'll have benefits for my wife because she didn't have any. She was a sub." And I thought, well, it'll be good for us. And little by little, the beautiful thing about this is you come to love these children as yours. I mean, You just do. They're like, these are my kids. I mean, I was so protective and so. No one fucked with my kids, my special ed kids, nobody, right? And we played, ran, and had fun, and shot hoops, and just had. There was no academics going on because these kids, you could do, we would do hand over hand, try to guide them, try to get them to write their name. These are 11, 12, 13-year-old kids. And they couldn't do it. They weren't intellectually capable of it. So what I decided to do was, I'm like, well, I'm just going to make their life fun. I'm just going to love them and have fun and just try to encourage an environment of fun and, have cakes and donuts and, field trips and, love them, because I think love can conquer lots of shit, right? And it was successful. I was successful. I did it for 2 years, and then in California, you can only work on a provisional teacher credential for 2 years, and you have to quit. And I was glad I had to quit because I got burned out on that. I mean, it was tough. It was very tough. I mean, to hear the lives and the stories and things. And I'm not going to go into that, but these kids had it so hard, that your life, if you think you've got a hard life, be a mute child in the ghetto and your mom's a crack hoe and you have to sleep on the floor, right? And then you're at a school and someone who's supposed to take care of you breaks your fucking arm. Okay, literally breaks your arm because you threw a shoe at him. I know I did good there. I know I did. It was measurable. I could see it in the 2 years I was there. I could see improvement, and parents and aunties and others, extended family they were so grateful to me. And I'm not saying this to butter myself up. I know what I am. I'm really imperfect. I've got a very short fucking temper. I get angry quickly. I hate injustice. That's the thing. I can't stand it. I can't take it. I mean, especially a poor child, who has all the fucking cards stacked against him, and they treat him like shit and his family like shit. I just can't support it, right? And I won't, and I didn't. And I learned so much. I'll never ever trade that for anything. So